Have you ever seen something so eerie that it feels like it shouldn't be there? I began, leaning forward as the fire crackled between us. The new rangers looked at me with a mix of curiosity and apprehension. If you ever find a trail of candles leading into the woods, remember Rule 17. Do not follow them. It was a chilly winter evening, the forest blanketed in a thick layer of snow. The air was crisp, the kind that bites at your skin, and the only sounds were the crunch of snow under my boots and the occasional rustle of branches weighed down by frost. I was on a routine patrol, enjoying the serene beauty of whispering pines transformed by winter. As I navigated the familiar path, something unusual caught my eye. A faint flickering light in the distance. Intrigued, I moved closer, and soon the source of the light became clear. A trail of candles, their flames dancing gently in the cold air. They lined a path that seemed to lead deeper, into the forest, their warm glow a stark contrast to the icy surroundings. Curiosity tugged at me. The sight was mesmerizing, almost enchanting, and I found myself drawn to it despite a growing sense of unease. Each candle seemed to invite me to take another step forward, to follow the path into the unknown. But as I approached, the temperature seemed to drop even further, and an unsettling silence fell over the forest. I stopped a few paces from the first candle, my breath visible in the frigid air. The flickering flames cast long, eerie shadows, and the path beyond the candles seemed to disappear into darkness. An overwhelming sense of foreboding washed over me. I remembered the warnings from the veteran rangers, the stories of those who had followed similar trails and never returned. It was said that these candles marked the boundary between our world and the realm of the dead, where the veil was thin and spirits roamed freely. Those who crossed over were lost forever, their souls unable to find their way back. The thought sent a shiver down my spine, and I knew I had to heed the warning. I took a step back, resisting the almost magnetic pull of the candlelit path. As I turned to leave, the oppressive silence seemed to lift slightly, and the sounds of the forest slowly returned. The distant call of an owl, the gentle rustling of branches. I walked briskly, the sense of unease lingering as I put more distance between myself and the candles. Back at the ranger station, I couldn't shake the experience. That night, I lay awake, my mind replaying the sight of the candles and the shadows they cast. In my dreams, I saw shadowy figures moving just beyond the light, waiting for someone to follow the path into their world. Remember Rule 17, I said firmly, meeting each ranger's gaze. If you ever see a trail of candles leading into the depths of the woods, do not follow them. They lead to a place where the veil between our world and the realm of the dead is at its thinnest, and those who cross over never return. The fire crackled, casting an orange glow that flickered against the darkened trees. My thoughts drifted back to a hiker named Matthew, a man whose curiosity led him down a path from which he would never return. Matthew was a nature enthusiast, I began, staring into the flames. He loved exploring uncharted trails, always searching for that next great adventure. It was a crisp autumn afternoon when Matthew set out on his hike. The forest was alive with color, leaves in hues of red, orange, and yellow carpeting the ground. He ventured deeper into whispering pines, following an old, overgrown trail that promised new discoveries. As dusk began to settle, Matthew stumbled upon something unusual. A trail of candles, leading into the heart of the forest. The sight was mesmerizing, each candle casting a warm, inviting glow against the encroaching darkness. Intrigued, he paused, his curiosity piqued. He took a few cautious steps forward, captivated by the mysterious allure of the candlelit path. The forest around him grew eerily silent. The usual sounds of wildlife were absent, replaced by an oppressive stillness. Matthew hesitated, but ultimately decided to follow the trail, believing it would lead to something extraordinary. The candles illuminated his path, their flickering flames casting dancing shadows on the trees. As he walked, the atmosphere became increasingly unsettling. The air grew colder, and a sense of unease settled over him. The path led him deeper into the forest, further than he had ever ventured before. The candles seemed endless, guiding him towards an unknown destination. Eventually, he reached a clearing bathed in an otherworldly light. At its center stood a shimmering portal, barely visible yet undeniably present. Matthew approached, both awed and terrified by the sight. The air around the portal was charged, vibrating with a strange energy. As he drew closer, shadowy figures began to materialize around the portal, their forms indistinct and ethereal. They moved with a ghostly grace, their eyes glowing with an unnatural light. Matthew felt a pull, an almost irresistible urge to step through the portal and discover what lay beyond. But as he stood at the edge, the shadowy figures reached out to him with cold, spectral hands. Panic set in, and Matthew tried to retreat, but it was too late. The figures surrounded him, their touch icy and unforgiving. He struggled, his screams echoing through the forest. But there was no escape. The portal consumed him, drawing him into its depths. The following day, when Matthew failed to return, a search party was organized. We scoured the forest, our hearts heavy with worry. His campsite was found abandoned, his belongings scattered around as if he had left in a hurry. The only trace of Matthew was his camera, left behind at the edge of the clearing. When we developed the film, we found eerie photographs of the candlelit path and the portal. The images were blurred and distorted, capturing the otherworldly glow and the shadowy figures that had taken him. But there was no sign of Matthew, no hint of where he had gone or how to bring him back. Matthew's fate served as a stark reminder of the dangers lurking within Whispering Pines. The candlelit path had led him to a place where the veil between our world and the realm of the dead was at its thinnest. His curiosity had drawn him in, and he had crossed over, never to return. The fire's glow dimmed as the night deepened, casting long shadows that danced and twisted among the trees. The atmosphere was thick with tension, the stories of my own encounter and Matthew's tragic fate weighing heavily in the air. After Matthew disappeared, the forest seemed to hold a darker presence. We all felt it, the oppressive weight of an ancient secret, the lurking malevolence that whispered through the trees. The loss of Matthew hit us hard, a sobering reminder of the dangers that lurked within Whispering Pines. The candlelit path had proven to be more than just a curiosity. It was a gateway to something far more sinister. Determined to understand the true nature of these paths, we began our research in earnest. We scoured old records and legends, uncovering tales that spoke of the veil between worlds and the trails of candles that marked its thinnest points. Ancient rituals were described in chilling detail, performed to guide lost souls to the other side, and to warn the living to stay away. The journals of those who had lived near the forest long before it became a protected area revealed eerie similarities. They spoke of the candlelit paths, the chilling silence that accompanied them, and the shadowy figures that seemed to guard these portals. It became clear that these candles were part of an ancient ritual, designed to maintain the balance between our world and the realm of the dead. As our understanding grew, so did our fear. The candles were not just warnings. They were beacons for the lost and the curious, drawing them into the forest's dark embrace Those who followed the candles were marked, drawn into the realm of the dead, their souls unable to return to the world of the living. Determined to prevent further tragedies, we documented everything we could find about the Candlelit Paths and their dangers. We spread the word among the rangers, emphasizing the critical importance of Rule 17. It wasn't just a precaution. It was a matter of survival. The forest was ancient and powerful, and its secrets were best left undisturbed. The memory of Matthew's fate haunted us, a constant reminder of the peril that awaited those who ventured too far. We made a pact to protect one another, to always heed the warnings and to respect the rules that had been passed down through generations of rangers. The forest around us seemed to grow darker as I spoke, the sense of being watched intensifying. The fire burned low, the shadows creeping closer, as if the spirits of the forest were listening, waiting for their next victim. The night was silent, save for the occasional rustle of leaves and the distant hoot of an owl. The weight of the stories I had shared settled heavily over us, a stark reminder of the malevolent forces that lurked within whispering pines. The rangers understood now, the deadly nature of the candlelit paths and the importance of respecting the rules. Somewhere deep within the forest, the candles still flickered, marking the thin veil between worlds. The spirits watched, silent and still, ready to claim those who dared to ignore the warnings. And as the final embers of the fire died out, the forest whispered a chilling promise. Those who follow the candles will never return.